Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 with everybody's favorite matchup, Zerg versus Zerg. Two North American pro gamers duking it out in what is sure to be a exciting and, to quote, interesting as well as messy best-of-5 match for those who don't know these players. And while they've gone through WCS and WCS Challenger before, I'm not sure if both of them have, but top Grandmasters in the top left. It's Mac and Tac, or Mac and Aw, or Big Mac. I'm not sure where we're going to land on that. We're just probably Mac. And in the bottom right, it is with a solid as a rock mentality. You might remember him from Icebound Esports as well. Caleb Arrakis. Zerg versus Zerg. Best of 5. Drickett sending me this saying, an interesting ZVZ. Words not usually spoken in the same sentence, especially when Cyril and Raynor aren't involved. But, North America... Yeah, can we... Thank you. Jimmy, I want to feel like I'm there. I want to be there. I want to be on the creep. I want to be in the spawning pool. Metaphorically. So. Now, ZVZ, there's a lot of little details. Every mirror matchup, the devil's in the details. And I really think if you don't dive into those, it can look like, oh, he did the good build, and that guy did the bad build, and there's a whole lot of that. But the first thing is Overlords. On some maps, Overlords naturally scout the most obvious attack path for Ling. So if you're going to do an early pool or something like that, players might try to do an alternative Overlord pathing to scout for it. We're on Ephemeron. I don't believe you need to adjust your Overlords much to look for that. And they're both going hatch first, which you'll usually see on the larger maps. Now there's a whole mind game on that, though, too. A lot of ZVZ is judging whether or not your opponent's going to be making units. And oftentimes it's difficult to actually figure out if they are making units by looking at those units. You have to make a calculated gamble. And that can come from how the game has gone thus far, what you think, what risks they're willing to take, especially in mirror matchup players. I guarantee you these guys have played dozens, if not hundreds of times, probably dozens. We'll stick with dozens. On the ladder recently, both of them being in the top 50 of Grandmaster, or somewhere around there. I don't know exactly. But we're showcasing all these players. There's not just Cyril, Neeb, Maru, Raynor. There's so many high-level players in StarCraft 2. And sure, they might not be winning that sweet, sweet WCS money. But they deserve a look. Alright, so Max sent out a group of Lings. The skirmish has begun. Now we have the Ling... Not so much a Cold War, but the Ling arms race, where players have to decide, am I going to make a big round of Lings or am I going to go for the drones? A big round of Lings, like Mac is making right now, usually transitions into having map control, which allows you to make more drones. The gamble is, am I going to try to outright kill him? Am I going to use this as cover for my economy? Can I actually kill the third? You got to figure out which target is going to be best. Now, the Overlords spot this. Caleb has it on point. He sees the Lings coming across. The Queens off the line. Brenda and Karen on their way to defend, but the third base taking a lot of damage. Baneling connections traded out. 2 for 3. A single Baneling gonna try to save the day. It's not gonna be enough to save the hatch. Mac committed to a whole lot of Zerglings, and it looks like they're gonna pay off for now. The Broodlings getting in on the action. One Baneling! And now the Queens are exposed. Mac just going to leave them out off the creep with their joint pains and sadness as the drones are slaughtered. He has to stack them up, drilling them in. Utilizing that mineral walk micro, the Queens will shamefully scramble back to the creep. It looks like Mac was going to go for one of the oldest tricks in the book, which is just hiding a couple Lings and making Banelings in the main. An interesting... So... Banelings are not light units. They actually don't have a unit tag at all, which means it takes 2 Banelings to kill a single Baneling. Though when a Baneling attacks, it unfortunately kills itself. That was a lot more profound than it was meant to sound. Really, the summary is Baneling versus Baneling trades. You really have to calculate. Is he going to go for it again? Oh! Wait. No, wait. It's not over. It's not over. He got the hatch. And there was no cancel. The Baneling's on target. Wow, Caleb, solid as a rock mentality. Now, when North American players... when North American players say things like that, what they really mean is he gets tilted super easily. He's tilted so hard he's going to get kicked out of the arcade for wrecking the pinball machine, because at this point, Caleb very rustled up at that loss of the hatch. The second time is way worse, because 1, there was no cancel. 2, he really did commit to defending it. A Ling gonna get in, Mac. Gonna get a scout. Very importantly that there's no lair, and possibly get some Banelings in. The Lings just continue to stream across. The worker count, the one saving grace Caleb had was that his worker count was higher because of the commitment to Lings for Mac. That's no longer the case. He doesn't have a third. His lair is later. His +1 is later. He's not as talented by his own admission. So... at this point, Caleb kind of just has to hope that Mag makes a mistake. It does kind of come down. It's not like they're going for different types of tech. The Banelings will automatically trigger there. That means enough Lings survive. And this run by is looking like a lot of damage here. The Lings are committed to the third. Suddenly, Caleb strikes back. 6 kills. This actually is real damage. Only 2 Banelings were left at home. The Overlords were pushed away, which means Mac didn't have vision of this. And suddenly, if Caleb's able to get the third base, which, well, is he gonna go? No, he's going for the drones. A more realistic target. And suddenly, we got a bit of a game here. I don't think that was enough to make up for, wow, he really droned behind that. Caleb up to 60 workers. Mac is catching up. The upgrades are going to be a factor. But that counterattack, the drone kills and pulling all the units off his side of the map, that was real damage there. And now I'd say the game is still slight advantage to Mac, but not... and that is the kind of mistake I'm talking about. Oh, 1 queen getting found, but saved for now. A Baneling even boxes out. The Roach is going deep in the paint, but that's going to be a 5-second violation. Forced to tuck their tail. And losing... He was committing to kill the queen, which is nice, but not a game changer at this stage. A little greedy. Mac, again, maybe a little bit of an overcommitment. So that's going to leave him, well, 2-1. There's going to be 1 extra upgrade coming up. Where's that second Evo chain? Oh, yes, I'm a genius. He tried to save it with an Overseer, not happening. So now Caleb's got 60 drones. He's actually a little bit ahead on the unit count. He's got 19 Roaches and 5 Ravagers against 11. The upgrades are going to make the difference. There's not enough for Contaminate to slow down the upgrades here. Supplies are very misleading at this stage because at any point the players could pump out another dozen Roaches and kill them dramatic. Don't kill your own creep tumor. He's gonna remedy that problem. Worth it to kill the Ovi. Caleb also has creep. Now a lot of players question, like, is it worth it to creep spread in ZVZ? They also get the benefit. I think the only time it's not worth it to at least put some effort in the creep spread is when you're going Muta and they're going like Hydra Infestor Queen. When you only have a lot of air units. Otherwise, you get vision. You're usually 95% of the time the one who uses it. This is, I don't know. Mac, what are you doing? He's gonna get the hatch. He's gonna lose every unit, though, pretty much. Not pretty much. Every single unit. That Roach gets assassinated by a queen. Mac, a very questionable decision to just walk up and start wailing on the hatchery. He got it, but Caleb already has a 4th base, now his temporary 3rd. So suddenly, it's 39 Roaches to 19 Roaches. Now, I'm not a math expert, but that is more. Even tunneling claws being utilized, and it looks like this is all turned around. Because there's barely enough to match even the main army here. The roaches will pop up, doing real economic damage. The 4th base goes down. Some of the reinforcements trickling in and getting picked off, but the tunneling claws, the burrow, the shark roaches. Serious economic damage. On the other side, Mac with a handful of roaches of his own, but he doesn't have the burrow move. More tunneling claws into the main, 20 drone kills. The worker count plummeting fast. Oh, no, some of the units are caught out. He was on a right click. Not the most important type of click to have at this stage, but at the same time, though, Mac Intac is going to have a 1-upgrade advantage. He just doesn't quite have the unit count to deal with this. The drones are being slaughtered. These roaches... Oh, he does have burrow. He just doesn't have burrow move. Interesting there. So suddenly, if the roach ravager count goes in favor of Mac, he's going to win the fight. He has the upgrades. Tunneling claws can maybe tilt the equation a little bit. The roaches... Get on it! Got me! Okay. 36 drones have gone down now. There's going to be one counterattack opportunity. Because right now, Mac, he's got more roaches. He's got better upgrades. Some of the roaches are committed underground over here. But right now, Caleb has held on. Some surgical counterattack with the Lings and Tunneling Claws roaches has really opened up the game for him. He's up by 50-ish, 40-ish supply. Once again, not a math expert. I went to American public school. There's no saving grace here. Caleb, by the way, finished a Spire. Mutas end the game. There's no anti-air. Maybe a couple queens. That's it. So, more roaches, even with a little bit of an upgrade disparity, which is about to be shored up by Caleb. He's going to hold on with that solid as a rock, talented mentality. And it looks like he will take game number 1. Mac got to be kicking himself a little bit. He definitely had the advantage, but then he kept trying to... He tunnel visioned onto the hatch and ended up... well, that... It was his white whale, if you would. And Captain Mac, this time, not going to come out on top. But it is a best of 5, which means we got plenty of opportunity for these players to show their most talented builds. Honestly, I feel the reason Caleb kept losing so much was he was like, you're not just going to keep making Lings, right? You're not just going to keep making Lings. That would be dumb if you just kept making Lings. But guess what? Mac kind of kept making Lings. And Caleb kept not quite having enough. But once the roaches came together, Caleb takes 1-0 lead going into Acropolis. Thank you again to Drickit for putting these on. Support Drickit and all these show matches. If you're watching this live, you can use the community command. Is that what we got for it? And of course, check out the description, which I don't think anyone has ever read if this is on YouTube, but you only unlock the description after liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell. There's a lot of prerequisites. So, but once you pull that one off, once again, hatch first. I think we will see an early pull. Will it be like a 12 pull drone pull? Ling Bane all in. Hatch first isn't necessarily... Hatch first isn't necessarily a macro build, as we kind of saw last game. But on this map, Acropolis, one of the longest rush distances, most easily covered with vision by overlords. There are ramps up to really the platform of the 3rd and the natural. So, if you were, besides Thunderbird is a whole different story. Thunderbird is in a class all of its own. But of standard-ish maps, Acropolis is probably the most macro-oriented. In fact, it is so much so that many Terrans and Protoss veto it against Zerg, because it is pretty easy for Zerg to just get their 4 bases and whatever tech they want. Alright. Anything spicy? Anything that wasn't almost exactly the same as the last game? Are we going to have speed? Now, the first thing is whether they pull out of gas. What? They both... North American pro gamers. Mac, about 30 gas late on his speed. Caleb, just not going for it. Or is he? I don't know why he's banking up so much gas. Is he going to go for a lair? Is this a Nidus all-in? That is really... He's going to show it, too. There is no question. Those lings are going to see it. So, Caleb... Now we got a little bit of zest here, and I'm not talking about the Korean Protoss. We got a little bit of flavor. And all signs point to Nidus solid. Mac is going to go for a counter lair. Words rarely uttered, but now becomes the calculated guesses. So it's unlikely that Mac is going to get any more real scouting. There's a small chance that Caleb just goes for like a Spire. I think Overseers, especially for Mac, are going to be a high priority. He's taking more gases now. All signs are indeed pointing to Nidus, but he isn't building more Queens. So it may very well be a Spire. He starts +1 ranged attack, but that could just be for... Are you Hydra done? I'm like, all right, let's list off all the other things you can do with a infestation pit. All right, nope. We got, yeah, Spire. Nope, that's about it. The one I did not mention. It looks like he's just gonna rush Lurkers. You don't go Hydras to go Hydras. And now it's been scouted. That's a big mistake. He should have had a Queen in there. Wait, was it spotted though? He saw everything but the tech. Mac, he's looking for it. He's gonna see everything. Oh my god, he saw everything but the most important information. The lack of the... Oh, that's really tough. And this isn't even the new patch with the changes to the Lurker and Lurker Den, which I think will have an interesting effect on ZVZ. I've already played some ZVZs, but this is not on the new patch. Unless Dricket lied to me. Wait, we can check. No, it's not, because Lurker Dens are way quicker. But, and that's why I'm wondering, like, he's just going Lurker. He's gonna let a Changeling in. Unfortunately, the Changeling, it spots the Hydra Den and the Lurker Den. I don't know if he clicked on the Lurker Den, but a Hydra Den in another building. We can do that much math. So Mac knows. There's a couple options. You engage it directly. Roach Ravager. And Ravagers can technically outrange Lurkers and, like, snipe them out and force them to unburrow with Corrosive Bile. But if the Lurker count gets high enough, then you either need Lurkers yourself or a direct counter, which comes in the form of things like Vipers, or maybe even Broodlords, though that is usually a bit optimistic. Or, Mac with the classic strategy, you just go kill him. Doing something weird, just kill him, which may very well work, because there's almost no units here for Caleb. The Roach is hunting down the Hydra. Lurkers are on the way. The Roach count is 17 to 8 and plummeting. The Lurkers are finishing up. They're seconds away. A Lurker finishes. That will save the day for now. But can he get the Lurkers to protect the third? Caleb's third is once again under assault for however many times in this series. I think this is the 4th or 5th time. Oh, the Lurkers trying to box out. He needs to leapfrog a little bit more. The Roach is going for it. He really, really likes killing third bases. Captain Max White Whale again. He's got to be real. He's going to try to out-micro, it looks like. No, I don't think he has the Roach count. I think this is a horrible mistake. Oh, no. He killed one Lurker. The other one is actually covered by Roaches. It's a disaster for Mac. He lost all of his Roaches to try to kill one Lurker. He got the Lurker. He's like, look at my splits. It's like, well, you're splitting into more lurker spines, my friend. This is a questionable decision at best. The thing is, Caleb still has to play defense. There's no way he's moving out with these lurkers. Mac's gonna try to whittle the count down, because if the lurker count gets too high, then there's no more engaging it. He's really trying to press the issue. But he just doesn't have enough. Not even gonna kill the queen. Mac, calm down. Calm down. He really likes killing third bases. It's a real problem. If I just get around to the third, he might accidentally spot the Nidus here, going for the counterattack. A few drones. Not bad. Getting some info as well. The thing is, Mac is not going to counter lurkers. He's not playing that game. He's not singing his song. He's not strumming his tune. He's going to try the Roach Ravager, the square peg in a arguably round hole situation. The Roach Ravager can work. But it definitely is a tightrope walk between when you actually want to take a fight and overcommitting. Now this Nidus. Lurker Nidus. One of those Bronze League Heroes strats or Twitch Chat GM strats that sounds like a great idea, but is oftentimes incredibly risky. More units coming back. If those lurkers get out, the main base is gone. A Nidus is coming up for Mac. If those he's not responding. Mac is not responding. Oh no. Disaster. Disaster. 2 lurkers on the top of the ramp. This ain't Brood War, but it's good enough. Oh my. So the main base is now no-go zone. The Ravagers may be able to chip at him or force an unburrow, but... Oh, the reinforcement's actually getting caught. Alright, he's coming up the ramp, going for the shots. He unburrows 1 lurker. He's going to pull it back. The roaches do it. Oh, surprise! Here comes the neighborhood. A bunch more lurkers pop out, but the reinforcement's being slaughtered by Mac. So this isn't a 100% victory for Caleb. He's trying to chase things down. 4 more lurkers popping out of the Nidus there. The natural is now being eviscerated. The Roach Warren's under fire. The drones are casualties of war. There are 3 roaches in the main, but Deja Vu, Mac getting picked apart, trying to do counter damage, but it's just not finding its mark. Reinforcements are coming in. He may very well be able to clean this up, but at what cost? And guess what? Another Nidus. He can just pop some more roaches, and he could reinforce this. There's still 1 lurker! It won't die! Oh my god. That 1 lurker breaking the back. Of course, it was the many lurkers that came... No, I don't know about this drone transfer. That seems very questionable. Why did you do... He's like, no. These drones... Before I tap GG, I want these drones who wronged me in the past to feel the pain that I feel. It's like, Mac, that's not really how this game works. And the reinforcements continue through the Zerg warp gates. Music too loud. The music was too loud. On a scale of strong, from the weakest to strongest excuses, like the weakest being the sun was in my eyes, because I doubt he's playing on a laptop on Fort Lauderdale's beach, and the strongest being, hey, I'm sorry, I was busy saving multiple children from a burning orphanage across the street, and then doing triage, and then also my internet connection requires me to hold a satellite dish in my hand while using a DDR pad to control my units. Yeah, that would be a stronger excuse, but I would definitely say it's closer to the first one. Also, music too loud. Everybody knows. I just, like, an aside here as we get Game 3 loaded up. You might be like, well, music too loud. How does that affect your site? How many people, it's like you're driving up. This is before everybody had their phones tracking them everywhere they go and telling them exactly where to go. Like, turn down the radio so I can see the addresses. If you haven't done that, especially if you're over the age of StarCraft 1, you're lying. So, fair point, but also completely his fault. 2-1 Caleb. Alright. Game number 3, Triton. A map that on paper is one of the smallest maps in the pool. The least bases, the shortest rush distance. There's a watchtower smack dab in the middle. But actually, I'm gonna take you back to an earlier time, several weeks ago. Has versus but always. I've seen a surprising amount of games that end up being not high economy, long-term macro games, but very long-winded matches. Because players are so ready to start beating on each other so quick, we end up in those weird low-economy scenarios that actually take much longer to play out, and are very interesting, of course, but... Alright. So. How's everybody doing? Yeah, you guys enjoying the cast? Sit here, talk at some Starcraft. Hopefully you're comfortable laying down. Okay, you gotta be careful. Okay, one of the most annoying things. Don't fall asleep, because if you're holding your phone up, and once again, on the list of things that people are lying if they've never done it, holding your phone up like watching a video while you're falling asleep, and then you drop your phone on your face. Good time. How'd you get that black eye? Got into a fight with a big tech company. But the Galaxy Note 7 won this round. Is this for pride, or is there a prize? ¿Por qué no los dos? Tempo. The greatest rapper in StarCraft 2. Closely followed by myself, but we have yet to rap battle. Consider this an official challenge. So, yeah, there's a lot more. Caleb looking down the barrel of $40, and Mac looking down the barrel of approximately, how much could a Big Mac cost? $10? So... So we're gonna measure Mac's winnings in Big Macs, for Big Mac. Four lings on the third. This is not a surprising move. This is, so far, speed for both sides. We're back to the playbook. 2 out of 3 in gas. That's not an accident. Just enough to be able to afford Banes. He's got Banelings right outside the third. 18 more lings on the way. Mac really likes killing third bases. If there is one thing to take away from all of this, he really does not like his opponent to have a third base, even if he loses the game trying to kill it, which he has now 2 times. He's gonna get that third. And this time, Caleb, once again, like, well, you're not gonna make a bunch of zerglings and just attack. Guess what? Bunch of zerglings and just attack. Down goes the third. Another one. This, you don't really want to use your banelings on broodlings. A bit of an odd trade here. I'm gonna take a page out of the Tastosis casting book for Ling Bane fights, which, to be honest, what are you gonna do? It's a little bit of that, a little bit of this, you know. Because it really does come down to, do the Banelings get the connections or not? And there's not much to be done when you're up close and personal besides look for those manual detonations, especially. Mac has secured his third, has a worker lead, and wait, is the lair? No lair yet for Caleb. So this time, it looks like Mac has simmered down. He's not going to try to kill the third base like 4 times over and over. He got his 1 kill. He's macroing up behind. Doesn't really have anything at home to defend. Caleb going for the counterattack, but Mac has adapted. He's kept some lings at home. But wait, there's more! One baneling connects. There shouldn't be a serious, nearly as much damage as there was in game number 1 here. Might lose a couple more drones, but having that lair so much quicker, this is the classic mirror matchup. It happens to pro gamers as well, guys. I'm like 80% sure Caleb got into the main base with his lings. He's like, oh shit, he has a lair, and immediately got his own. Being reminded that, yeah, that's probably a good idea, especially considering he's not going to win the game with 6 zerglings. Double upgrades coming up from Mac. Caleb does have a lead on that. Both players with a pseudo wall here just to shut down options. Well, it's mostly for the lings early on, but it can also be used against roaches. Nice connection. +1 on the way. So we're going into roaches. Roaches. We've seen this story before, but we'll see how it plays out this time. The simple version is, in an interesting turn of events, a baneling cocoon actually takes 3 baneling hits because of the armor to kill, as opposed to 2 that a baneling itself does. So some clever moves here from Mac to try to draw some baneling hits out. Though, done. He's found him. Right? Okay. Yeah, good luck with that. Overseer building, but 2 queens angrily will shoot it out of the sky. Four bases for Caleb. Caleb, definitely the greedier player here. In all these matches, it's been apparent that Caleb just wants his 66 drones, his lair tech, his 4 bases, and to be left alone. And Mac just keeps getting up in his grill. Yes, last game, it was the Lurkernitis, but that was only after, if you remember, the roach aggressions of Mac. Speaking of roach aggressions, roaches and ravagers on the way. Looking for shots, but the Overseer with speed, almost impossible to hit. It's faster than the Roaches and Ravagers. So you... Brandon, no! A little far forward. And we'll never live again. Anitis into the main. Mac trying to hit from 2 angles. Caleb, is his music too loud? No, but are his eyes... Wait, no, he sees it. He sees it. Everybody's music is too loud in this match. Turn down the bangers. It isn't lurkers, though. It's roaches. He can deal with that. He just has to manage it well. Corrosive Biles thrown up, knocked down. A lot of damage to the roaches. Is there burrow on the way? No. +2 just started for both sides. +1 is also on the way for Caleb. He does still maintain those 4 bases. Mac has his 4th up as well. Being chased down by a much larger army, but Corrosive Bile can tilt the scales a little bit. Reinforcements trickling out and being whittled down by Mac's roaches. But eventually, the numbers will be there. And, I mean, look at the triple. Give me a triple, baby. Oh, he's only got 3 Ravagers. That's not enough. The Knight is going to be taken out. The most unsatisfying possible scenario. Those Overlords. Strongly told to leave this town. But a Nidus, it is spotted. He's easily going to be able to take it out. Another Nidus into the main. This is just a bait and switch. There's nothing in it. The Roach Ravager battle begins. The upgrades are even. +1 for both sides. It's just going to have to come down to Corrosive Biles and numbers. How much is in the Nidus? He's going to pop it out into the main. Caleb looking for it. No, nothing. Nothing. He spits out the roaches, but it looks like Caleb has enough to help defend. He's holding strongly at the front. A couple roaches split off to the side. He's lost 5 drones thus far, losing more in the main. Caleb's starting to dip closer to that 50 drone mark, and that's when you don't really have the economy to constantly replace these roaches. +2, finishing for Caleb. About to finish up for Mac. +1 carapace, though, also for Caleb. Meaning his roaches have more survivability, and in a heads-up fight, they're going to be doing a lot better. Not as big of an upgrade advantage as having a +2 advantage, but both sides will be equal on that. And remember, Caleb's army, oh, what a play! Finds a way to snipe. He finds the... Okay, I thought he was shooting his own Overlord, but some nice moves to snipe off an Overseer there from Mac. Oh, roaches. Caleb starting to bend. He's not breaking yet. He's holding strong in the front. 60 to 67 workers. Neither side feeling comfortable teching up past this point, because if you lose a critical mass of roaches, you're just going to get run over. Caleb playing 100% defense. He has nothing on the other side of the map. He's slowly working towards tunneling claws, but still about a minute away. More drones gonna fall. The engagement taking heads up. Mac not paying attention. Corrosive vials gonna land, and most of the army chopped to pieces at the front. So while he was targeting down drones, his army got the face knocked off it. About a dozen roaches, and I think 4 or 5 Ravagers going down with that. He's gonna go in. He's got the units. Caleb looking. He smells blood in the water. Chasing him down. He has 40 more army supply. He's about to have tunneling claws, and now it's his turn to strike back. Roaches and Ravagers. The numbers, 50 and 9 to 31 and 5. The upgrade advantage also going to Caleb, but all his forces aren't here. The Ravagers a little bit exposed. They are weak on their own. Tunneling claws being used to regenerate some of these roaches. I don't know if the Overlord spotted it, but you can actually see that the... What? Brenda! What? What? Back from her pilgrimage. Triple kill, and gets his own roach as well. Blood for the blood god. Overlords. Innocent bystanders and all of this. Nope. Roaches countering roaches. Bit of an awkward scenario for Caleb, but Mac gonna have trouble chasing into corrosive bile. More tunneling claws being used. Caleb looking for an opportunity. 8 mutas on the way for Mac. This could decide the engagements. The mutas don't kill this army quick, but eventually the roaches and Ravagers don't shoot up. Corrosive bow, not reliable at all. Tunneling claws spotted. With the mutas, he's going to have a lot of options. And remember, the Nidus is still on the table. Hydrodon on the way. Caleb started a Spire. I think he realized he was up against mutas and decided to cancel it in favor of Hydras, which are much more realistic at this stage. The mutas really starting to chip on those roaches. Still has some tunneling claws on the left side. He's trying to take a heads-up fight because as time goes on, the mutas are going to whittle down more and more units. A lot of roaches split off. Nothing at home here for Mac. How much is he going to bring back? Just mutas, but drones are being slaughtered, and there's roaches on the left side as well. Caleb still has options. Hydras in production, 11 of them. Enough to easily take out the mutas that are on offense right now. Tunneling claws being utilized again. It's like all the... Yep. No. Are you kidding me? Roaches on the left. Roaches on the right. Roaches in the center. And yep, that's it. Nothing past that. 18 drones falling. Caleb looking to close this out. The supply is still about even. Remember, the mutas are still a struggle to contest with. The mutas are actually going for the drones. He's going to eat the Spore Crawler shots, which hurt a lot. What? Questionable decisions there, but the mutas are going straight for the Hydras. The Hydra count isn't high enough. He doesn't have the anti-air. +1 flyer attack is closing in. 25 drones is the total casualty count. 51 to 40 drones, though, so not a significant advantage for Caleb. And he needs to replace his anti-air units. Where are the Overseers? Coming in. That's a lot of roaches Caleb could be losing here, but more roaches into the main! They're going to get split off. Caleb is playing for time now. He has a little bit better economy, and he knows it. But he has to deal with the mutas. He needs enough Hydras to be able to fight them. More roaches in the main. Mac is bleeding out his economy. Where's the Overseer? Overseer's at a premium right now. 15 more drones going down. Has some roaches on patrol back in the main in case of Nidus. More roaches towards the third. Or fourth? Third. Caleb doing a great job with the tunneling claws. Really buying himself a whole lot of time here. The only thing is, that Mac still has a strong army. The mutas are a bit of a wild card because you get a little out of position and your hydras are exposed. I'm surprised we don't see a lurker den yet from Caleb, because that is how we're gonna close this out. I don't think Caleb can reliably just attack across right now, as Caleb attacks across, because if the hydra count is whittled down enough, the mutas will win the fight, and then they will probably win the war at that point. Those overlords that have evaded him for so long will finally be taken out. 13 mutas to 18 hydras. The hydras win, especially because of the upgrades, but that is a precarious number. He doesn't have hydra speed either. The supply is still close to 200. Tunneling claws being utilized still. The worker counts are even, but that means Mac had to spend a lot of money replacing this. The hydras at the back add a lot of DPS. The reason they're not part of most unit compositions, though, is they're just so fragile. Roaches and Ravagers can jump on them. They don't have Corrosive Bile. But in this scenario, they are the right choice. Or at least, a good choice for Caleb. More Corrosive Biles. Mac with good dodges. Going for the center mass. He's going to find some more. Roaches and Ravagers winning the day. Where are the mutas? They're cutting off the reinforcements. This base is under fire, but Caleb's forces are routed on the left. He's going to get chased down. Mac on the... well, he's on the attack now. He's got to go. He's going to lose so many drones. Well, he's lost 7 drones. And cleaning up these tunneling claws roaches. Caleb maybe picking a fight that he didn't need to. And getting caught off of creep with hydras. The Corrosive Bile makes things real complicated. The mutas will find that last roach. Finish it off. More roaches are slipping in, but just like that, look at the supply. 153 to 137. The losses really being shown there in that last fight. What are the upgrades? 2-2 for Mac. Sneakily getting +2 Carapace on the ground, as well as having +2 flyer attack, which makes it much easier to take out those tunneling roaches. Mac playing patient. Lurker Den just now starting for Caleb. That's far too late to have an impact on this fight. He's trying to go for the Ravagers. Mac getting caught. Not paying attention again. Still trying to chase down the roaches. With supplies even, this is now Caleb, he was playing for time before. He built up his army, but then he committed to a fight that was questionable at best, whether he was going to win. Mac trying to move in, but those are... the Roach Hydra has more DPS than the Roach Ravager. But when you throw Corrosive Biles into the mix, the amount of micro a player has to do to dodge them, or if they hit, the amount of extra damage, is what makes... and the fact, of course, you don't need a Hydra Den, is what makes the Ravager a much more common unit found in ZVZ. Oh, he's going to go for the third. He got it once, but he'll get it again before the end of this. Or not. I lied. And he's going to lose a whole lot of Roach Ravager. You gotta, like, either, like... oh, whoa, those Corrosive Biles actually find some Hydras. I was about to say he's going to lose all these units as well, but trading out for Hydras isn't the worst thing in the world. But the game, neither player quite has a knockout army, is the thing. The Hydra's defensively super good. On the attack, off creep, all bottled up, literally between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, not as great. But on defense, and especially in lurker form... oh, gonna snipe off one lurker there. Yeah, the Hydras do a whole lot to those mutas. They can't fight straight up. Like, they gotta have, like, a 5-to-1 advantage to make it worth it. This is questionable. Losing the mutas here. He's kind of trading out. Now Mac has to decide, is it time to go? Are we going? Because he doesn't have a lurker den. He doesn't have an infestation pit. He doesn't have another base. He's maxed out. Using the mutas for Nidus, and he cleared out the vision. Trying to fight straight up. The reinforcements can go through the Nidus. He's going to play for time. The muta's looking for an opportunity. There's actually nothing in the Nidus one. Is Caleb suspecting exactly what's happening here? I think this was spotted out. That's so many Ravagers. He's got 16 Ravagers. There are 5 Lurkers. Ravagers can use that Corrosive Bile against the Lurkers. Almost picking off one for free there. Not going to be able to unburrow in time. Gets a snipe. Good luck going up that ramp. The Nidus is still in the main. The Hydra's finally going to deal with it. Nobody's popping into it. He feels like he needs all the forces at the front to be able to box out these lurkers. This is happening. 146 to 128 army supply. Caleb a little out of position here. This base super exposed. He might not get the third, but the fourth will have to do. Going up a ramp for either side. Oh god, those corrosive biles on the way up and on the way down. Meanwhile, the lurkers with the base trade. There's not enough mutas to be a real threat right now. In fact, there are 0 mutas, which is not very many mutas at all. This base. Great counterattack from Caleb, but he is committing his lurkers. The lurkers are at a premium. He doesn't have many of them. There are 4 total. 2, 3 on the other side of the map. The 4th lurker is back at home. He's working on the rock. This base is gone. We've traded 4th. Oh, but the 3rd! The drive-by sniping. The roaches get the 3rd, but there is another base. Completely defenseless at the moment. The lurker's finding a lot of damage. Caleb is bringing the rest of his army. He's only got 1 lurker. But that's 1 more than Mac has. These drones being slaughtered. He needs to burrow them or something. Caleb losing his economy. So is Mac. This base is exposed. Nobody gets a 3rd, and nobody gets a 4th. Both of them still have a 5th for now. That 1 lurker. The army supply is 141 to 114, 112 in favor of Mac. That 1 lurker trying its best. Oh, the drones! A very dangerous path. The reinforcements taken out. Everybody burrowed and unburrowed back and forth. He's really leaning on that 1 lurker. Can you actually hit the high ground? He doesn't have high ground vision, though. That's the problem. This Overlord definitely needs to be taken out right now. The roaches are back! Roach Ravager, there's no high ground vision for Caleb. He can't see it. He's, cannot challenge that high ground. Caleb binding 22 to 28 workers. Still over 150 supply. Big armies. A big round of corrosive bile could turn the tide either direction. That's a very dead Obi. Machine gunning up those rapid fire biles. We're going to fight over the rocks. Don't want to waste too much time not fighting the army, though. Caleb, a bunch of roaches in between, cutting off, well, pretty much the rally point of all of Caleb's units. He can't go too far off the map because if he gives too much space to the Roach Ravager, though, he's never going to get back and actually threaten his economy. What little there is, of course. The small roach battles, so important. It looks like, once again, Mac going to win one of the small skirmishes. And Caleb is getting in a tougher and tougher position. There's not that many Hydras here. He can kill Overlords. I'm not sure how much value that's going to have at this stage. The roach count, like, there's nothing to defend. There's not enough roaches. The Roach Ravager is boxing out. Caleb is losing supply. He's now down in workers as well. 1 lurker has a lot of weight on its back. I don't know if that's going to cut it. The counter burrow, but that means Caleb is no longer mining. Also, Mac is not mining gas, which is interesting. These roaches, he was going to try to split off some. Almost a terrible pathing there. Caleb's down to almost as many workers as he started with. Mac has a few extra roaches to burn, and he's been using them super well. Caleb's now underwater. He's at 10. 9. 9. Oh, the corrosive biles. Where is the hero lurker? Mac is playing this out immaculately. He knows he has... Well, Roach Ravager is obviously a more mobile unit composition. He has better upgrades. That many Ravagers allow you to kind of bully your opponent out of positions. He just doesn't have the lurkers to contest it. 6 workers. Caleb... The entire 100 supply plus of Zerg army is making sure this hatchery does not die. He is very committed to the survival. Caleb bringing his whole army back. It seems like Caleb's a bit tilted here. By the way, no tunneling claws for Mac. Just burrow, but utilizing it well, even slapping a Nidus in the mix. Contaminate used on the hatchery. But Mac has realized, You might just be able to end this. Gotta be careful not to hit your own corrosive biles. Nice rapid-fire wall of biles. The roach warren goes down. There's one more lurker. The roach is on burrow. Caleb's still at 6. So it looks like this game not going to end with a bang, but with a slow whimper. 2 more lurkers. Caleb. The time, it feels like the time to potentially take a game-winning fight has mostly passed. Maybe with the most perfect lurker spines and some corrosive biles, maybe. But at this point, it's a numbers game, as we've been learning so much about math. And, okay, everybody needs to learn how to 8-click. Oh, roaches and ravagers from both sides. He might just collapse on this. Caleb throwing out some defensive corrosive biles. That'll be enough to get Mac to turn around. There's a counterattack here. Oh my god!
Surprise, motherfucker!
There's no detection! Caleb's doing a lot of damage, but he recognized it. Who needs tunneling claws? Takes the decisive fight. Well played. Comes out. We're going to game 4. Now, it might have been just punctuating the conclusion of the match, but still a dramatic play. There was still the risk that the lurkers could grind their way back in, and it's hard for Mac to tell exactly what the economy is. So nice usage of the burrow there. You love to see it. He obviously turned his music down, and he turned his talent up. But yeah, what a game. Quite a back and forth. You can really see that there's definitely a stylistic difference between the players. Caleb, much more defensive. Really looking to just do decisive counterattacks. Whereas Mac kind of feels like he's throwing everything at the board to see what sticks. It's like, throw some lings, throw some bangs. Oh, here's a Nidus, mutas, ravagers, burrow. See what happens. Now, if there is... Now, this might be a severe disadvantage for Mac. If there is any map that, if there's any map that killing the third base is unlikely, it is Thunderbird. Because you've got the mineral walls, you've got the ramp. So, Mac, his superpower is killing third bases. And also, his major weakness is killing third bases. Will that prove decisive? Hatch first again. No early pulls from either side. Not even an attempt at, like, the cheeky 16 hatch into mass speedling type builds. Can we have a mutiling game, guys? Will everybody here agree? Like, go back to Heart of the Swarm, where it came down to, do you have 24 or 25 mutas with +1 carapace? And then people doing it, not like, I've never been entirely convinced that it's no longer much of a factor because we just mash our roach balls into one another. But I've never been entirely convinced that putting lings underneath the mutas actually really ate much damage from other mutas fighting them. I know the glaive bounces and all that, but I feel a disproportionate amount of excitement and energy was put into explaining that little move. I guess if you're dead even on mutas and you got lings underneath, not a big point, because we almost never see Muta versus Muta nowadays, simply because the window for mutas to do damage in Legacy of the Void, especially as it's currently played, is so small, it's almost non-existent. The summary is, if we're playing an even game, and you go mutas, your opponent has enough time to get a Nidus network and slap it in your base by the time the Spire finishes and you get mutas out. That is the most direct counter. You build like half a dozen queens, you get a half a dozen roaches, you Nidus their base, they have almost nothing to kill it before the mutas come out, and bada bing, bada boom, you look dumb. In games like that last one, where it goes on long enough that one player is able to go mutas, that's a very different story. But mutas being the mid-game goal is not really on the table right now. There begins for Mac right before the Lings get in. Maybe a little suspicious. Or maybe he just wanted a lair. If you thought the last games were... Mech cancels his lair. But why? Is he gonna do a Ravager Ling all in? That's like... Oh. The only explanation... Or Caleb cancels it. Whoever this player is... canceled their lair. And now Matt gets in with Lings. Probably a little suspicious. If he just restarts a lair, then I will be very disappointed. But this is very suspicious from Caleb, because Matt gets in with the Lings. The only possible explanation is a Ravager, and just as I say it, bam, there's a Spire. The thing is, if you know your opponent doesn't have a lair, and you can survive to Spire, they don't have anything. Like, there's no way Caleb can go Nidus all in, because he doesn't have a lair. That's the difference. The gas has to be for Ravagers, right? Is he gonna go for a bunch of Banes? He's gonna try to kill him. Here comes Caleb with an unprovoked all-in here. Mac has 56 drones. He doesn't have creep at the center. Ah, classic mistake. Having creep at the top of the ramp, being able to get spines there would be huge. Kind of surprised he didn't even mine out the mineral walls in the front. But here we go. Bane's on the way. Caleb taking his shot. He does not want to play out the game. And thus concludes my Baneling commentary. Spine crawlers are not done yet. 7 mutas have begun production, but they're still in the mail. Oh, he goes for the spines directly. The drones are already splitting. One spine will complete. He's having trouble getting through that wall. The mutas are halfway done. Only one Baneling remains. Oh, a big Baneling hit. 6 drones down thus far, but remember, he started with so many more drones. He's going straight towards the main. He's got to stop the bleeding. The mutas are popping out. They got a lot of work to do. Roaches and Lings slaughtering drones at the natural. They will all die. The mutas will eventually clean it up in the main as well. But where are they going? From the fire into the flames. Caleb. The third base has 2 spines. The mutas are desperate. That is a lot of mutas. Well, he can go for the third, or he can go for the hatch. More Lings are streaming through. Mac down to 31 workers. Caleb getting spore crawlers. He's getting +1. He's getting more queens. He's getting his anti-air up behind this. He's going for the main. The mutas are no. What a save! Okay, wait. So here's the thing. If you go all in with no tech, and you don't outright kill your opponent, so now for the next several minutes of the game, Caleb just has to defend mutas. That is, like, he has no other options. He has to sit back, and he has to defend against the mutas. And there's 9 mutas out here. That's a dangerous number. Are there enough to fight the queens? If he thinks there are, then he's definitely going to do it. There aren't transfuses. There's a chance that Caleb didn't do enough damage. Spore crawlers are a great counter to mutas. They do that extra damage to biological flying units. And guess who's the only race who has biological flying units? Oh. The mutas are kind of bleeding out. He's really trying to trade for the queen. Suddenly the worker count not looking so great. Especially for a player who just finished up their lair. He's kind of bleeding out. He's lost 3 mutas thus far for 2 queens. But Mac has to be on top of him. He really needs every single muta. But he's not dead. And this is Thunderbird, which means good luck attacking across again. So Caleb, it looked, if he had gotten the lair, I think, that's pretty much lights out. It's not game over because there's still mutas, but he didn't get the lair. And that means that Mac has a dream. He has more than a dream. He has a dozen mutas, and they're about to have +1. So there are a lot of options. Now, Caleb has a couple options of his own. Yeah, +1 is finishing in just a moment, giving him a lot more damage against units with base armor, like those queens. And roaches, and well, everything, but especially armored units. So, Caleb's going for Hydras. Is he going to get the lurker done, or is he just going to try to build up a Hydra count? It looks like Mac is going to double down. When you really can't, you have to pick a direction if you're Mac. Either you switch into ground, or you double down on the mutas. Because he lost so much back at home. Oh my god, he's fighting heads up. I don't know. The mutas are trying to get out. He lost several of them. He's lost 8 mutas now. There's a bunch of lings. Baneling speed? No, of course. +2 melee attack is on the way. Remember, he finished those +1 lings. The muta count is getting to the point where spore crawlers aren't going to cut it. Spore crawlers plus half a dozen queens? Yeah, maybe. Lurker den begun. Caleb isn't going to make the same mistake as last game. He's going to get the infestation pit. He's going to get the lurker den. Because the most reliable way, if you have a better or equal economy, is going to be queens, lurkers, infestors. The simple version is, even though these mutas are chipping away at the edges, they're not going to win the fight. And as time goes on, they're not only not going to win the fight, they're just going to outright get cleaned from the entire field. Like fungal plus a bunch of well-upgraded hydras, the mutas disappear. So Caleb is trying to minimize losses while maximizing his army's potential, whereas Mac is continuing on the mutas, which until there are infestors is still an option. Oh my god, he really likes killing bases. He gets that one. I don't think there was a cancel. He's chosen his path. He's gonna take the muta risk. Infestation pit is on. Is he gonna go? Well, is he gonna go ultras? You can't go ultras against lurkers. Also, swarm hosts don't make any sense. Infestors, okay, but what is even hive tech here? Brood lords? Just at this point, Mag, just give me the ultras in ZVZ. Even though I don't care. I don't think they'll work, but and by the way, the third base, Mac. Oh. The transfuses. He almost got his trademark third, but not quite. Two Vipers on the way. Parasitic Bomb. Also, there are so many things that are a real and present danger to Mutalists. But the Lings! Yeah, any amount of lurkers is going to make that very difficult. I'm not sure if lurkers with +2 one-shot Lings, but they get very close. No amount of armor upgrades is going to solve that problem. Adaptive Talons on the way. The Vipers are complete. Caleb is digging in every way. He hasn't built a single infestor yet, but he has gone for the Vipers, which are another good option. Mac has kind of had the run of the place here, but he has been recovering still from all that early damage. 1, 2, give me 3. He takes 3 queens. He's killed 8 of them. Regicide. Mac. Does he actually commit to banelings is another question, because lurkers will eat them up. Mac is really trying to get value out of these mutas before they're almost entirely negated. He knows Caleb is playing that defensive style. He's going to look for the best anti-muta army possible. Whittling away at queens. Where are the Vipers? Where are the Vipers? There they are. I'm sorry. The camera work makes me dizzy. Oh, no, that's not... That is not the ideal usage of Vipers. Mac will get 2 Vipers and a 3rd, and Caleb, his solid as a rock mentality. Shaken. Yeah, that was a massive mistake. Wow, that was really bad. That is worst case. Not only did he lose the Vipers, they didn't cast anything, but he also lost the base. Hydras. At this point, Caleb... Ultralisk Cavern! Mac is looking to take the risk. He can get the speed, the chitinous plating, the Usain Ultralisks. Going from Lings into Lisks. Now, he's going to need either to target down Lurkers or get some Vipers of his own. At this point, how many mutas is that? He's got 36 mutas. He's going to 40 mutas. I think he's going to try to trade and then play 300 supplies. He's taken the center base and is mining the rich Vespine gas. Double gas income. Perfect for this type of army. So while Mac took so much... There's a Parasitic Bomb. There's a... Oh my god. Oh, it's so much damage. Okay. Okay, he splits it off. Those things heal. As long as they don't go down, they heal pretty quick. Parasitic Bomb. Super dangerous. 2 Ultras on the way. When you see that many orange upgrades at the same time, you know a Zerg is rolling in the minerals and gas. 2 Ultras. Chitin is plating. Oh, run away, Hydras! His own creep. The architect of his potential demise. That is so many mutas. Where are the Vipers? Where are the Vipers? He has 5 of them now. He's not taking chances. Oh, what? He consumed his own hive! Okay. He consumed with the Vipers. That could come back to bite him. That thing does not regenerate like a mule. What are you doing? He's gonna... Okay. You gotta be careful about what target you choose on that. Now, the Lurkers are on the way. What kind of upgrades? +3 attack, and that's it. The Ultras are nearly done. Where are... Oh, there they are. He's just gonna get right up in the business. Is there enough anti-air? Parasitic Bomb gonna be huge. The Ultras are here. Good luck getting close. He throws it on an Overseer. There's an Ultra. Not anymore. Decides against this idea. Oh, the Ultra gonna chop. The Lurkers are burrowed. Here comes the neighborhood. Where are the Parasitic Bombs? The Lurkers doing terrible, terrible damage. So are the Parasitic Bombs on everything. He's throwing them out. The mutas are evaporating. Lurkers do survive. But enough mutas to maybe clean this up. The Lurker's gonna try to find some damage. The muta's the only survivors for Mac's army. Ultra's a cool idea. But, yeah, that didn't work out. The mutas took some big hits. He's lost 46 of them. He still has 14. The Lurker's doing a lot of damage everywhere. More Hydras filling in the gaps. 25 mutas in production at the same time. He's doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on the Ultralisks. And they've worked out thus far. All the Vipers are dead. There are no infestors. There's no pathogen glands. Hydras, pound for pound, are okay. But we've got Lings, we've got Ultras. The Lings are perfectly upgraded. He has 3-2 adrenal glands, chitinous plating. He doesn't have Ultra speed, but does he? Ah, the Lurker eggs are boxing out. But the fact that the Hydras are taking... You gotta burrow those things. Adaptive talents. Does he have the numbers to win the fight? There is a Spore Crawler adding some deeps in. There's 15 Hydras against 37 mutas. I think the mutas, with +3/+1, I think the mutas win this fight. He needs Vipers. You can't go tit for tat with a player who had... Now, the thing is, Caleb has no idea. He might think he killed most of the economy. In fact, he barely touched it. There's a rich Vespine base as well as just a full-on 5th, I guess, in the context of this game. He's gonna try Vipers again, but if 5 Vipers couldn't finish off the mutas, is he gonna fight? He's just gonna... Oh my god. There are no armor upgrades for Spore Crawlers. Mac has 2,100 gas, or let me rephrase, 23 mutas of gas in the bank. Yeah, he steps away for a second. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? The Vipers aren't... Like, one Viper is not going to save you. Down goes the third. Caleb has one last attack. Well upgraded Ultralisks, a Viper in the mix, Lurkers. It has to work. A Ling counterattack. The Ultra's leading the charge, trying to box out for the Banes. Down goes an Ultra. Oh, but the Lurkers are exposed! The Viper, he has one parasitic bomb. A Ling counterattack. Now, 10 drones going down. Oh, that Lurker. Slaughtering Banelings. It's getting to the point there's no counter to the Hydras. That one counterattack, whittling down the drone count, but still so many. Is Burrow done? He does have Burrow. We could see another Burrow play. Some Ultras in the mix. The Ultras doing their best. Where's the parasitic bomb? He's holding. He's holding out. He slaps it out. It's doing a lot of damage. He didn't split off the Muta. Okay, it died. Is there enough? Mac is down to 140 supply with the most fragile army composition. He's got Mutalisks and Banelings. Like, the units with the least possible... Well, and then complemented with Ultras. If there are no Lurkers, the Ultras can actually get their chop on. The El Chapo-lisks. Oh, the Banelings trickling through. Ultra from the back! The Hero List turns the tide. The Muta count is too damn high. Caleb running out of income suddenly. His army is eviscerated. The Ultras will lead the charge. What is there to stop them? I mean, besides the fact one of them, a light tap on the shoulder will kill it. But the other ones have some significant HP. We're down once again in this evenly matched match. The one base of mine. The Ultra's looking for an opportunity. The Muta's still so fragile is the thing. You overcommit with the Mutas, and he doesn't have the... He has the gas bank, but he's struggling for minerals. There's a limited number of mineral patches. And straight up, the Mutas still aren't winning the fights. These are some of the most well-upgraded Mutas I've seen, like, this whole year. Oh my god. Daddy's home. There are now 7 Ultras and no hope for Caleb. Oh, the chop. And the Banelings roll in. Mac. Using the Lings and the Lisks. Ties it up. Going to match point. In this best of 5. ZVZ, what a boring matchup. I'm kind of surprised Mac really took that. Well, he's obviously the likes to play it a little faster and a little looser, and Caleb not quite adapting in time. But first, before now, as a professional, we made it to match point. Everybody knows this is the time Jimmy says we got to get those ads in. So if you guys can pause ad block, I'll be right back after a quick advertisement, and then game 5. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you all about Twitch Prime. Did you know if you have Amazon Prime, or your mom has Amazon Prime, or your dog has Amazon Prime, you can connect it with Twitch and get so many exciting benefits. Believe it or not. But do. You can subscribe for free every single month on Twitch, and I get more money. Make the difference today. Also, if you haven't yet, check out Dricket on Patreon. And also, he sometimes tweets things. But mostly, he just randomly does show matches and then sends me replays and is like, hey, there you go. So, a very flexible organization we have going on here. But if you're watching on YouTube, well, after, of course, you like and subscribe and ring the bell. Don't worry, don't skip to the end of this. No, don't even think about it. Don't touch the screen. Don't pause it. Okay? Check the description. After all those things. Cricket, organizing more matches. Your dirty esports money can go to that. Believe it or not. The day after we're casting this, and if we're doing it live, give me a kappa in the chat. We've got Puck versus Neve. You might be like, well, oh no, I'm watching this in 2027 when Winter is now president of the planet as well as a very accomplished pro gamer. Well, guess what? It's probably up there too. Just look around. It might even be on the end screen thing, which nobody actually uses, but check it out. Thank you. Good luck. Have fun. And enjoy the rest of the cast. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know ads are loud and annoying, but we gotta make that dirty esports money somehow. Game number 5. In the North American Brood War. That's a clever title. I might steal my own idea. That's not clickbaity enough. We'll try. We'll see. We'll probably just go with Mutalisk in 2019? Question mark, exclamation point, circle, arrow to a Mutalisk. There you go. That'll get the people clicking. I'm a professional. Will we see an early pool? No, these players are boring. I mean, macro-oriented. Top right, Mac. Bottom left, Caleb. So. Hatch first. More drones. We're gonna macro it out. We're going back to basics. Yes, they call it a mirror matchup for a reason. You flip the production tab over, and I mean, so this is the ZVZ build for those who do not know. We've seen throughout the series Mac be the one who's a little heavier on the lings early. He chooses to go for his first larva into lings as the pool finishes. Caleb squeezing out a couple more drones and then playing defensive. But that early ling pressure has led to some dead thirds. But I think the games where Mac has committed to those lings are actually the games he lost, the first 2 matches. He pulled back on the aggression, and in 2 much later and drawn-out matches, he's been able to take it. It seems the longer the game goes on, and kind of the weirder it gets, to be honest, he's more favored. Whereas in just a straight-up mechanical match, Caleb definitely having the edge there. Mainly nest on the way from Mac. Caleb should be throwing his down. There you go. Leaving a little bit of space for the queen to potentially block lings and banes. Even little things like that. Mac actually going for the bane in the main. The main bane pain train. Your puns are lame, Winter. Call it a day. We're done. Wow, Mac. Going for the rich Vespine third. A bold play. Now, rich Vespine geysers indicated by the cool purpliness of them mine gas at double the rate. They still have the same amount, so they mine out twice as quick, but you get an extra burst of income for less workers, giving a big boost, especially to more tech-heavy builds like mutas or heavy ravagers, things like that. You're just more efficient. Caleb, true to form, taking the more standard outlying third. This time, Caleb is not screwing around. He's not going to be losing it to Lings. He's got 4 Banelings, which is a little on the high side, but not overcommitted. Lings will scout into the main, getting a look at the drone count, whether there's a lair. The second one more important than the first. And immediately after the Lings are taken out, 4 gas... Wait, was this a gas? No, it wasn't a gasless. Yeah, he's... Wow. Mac. Just doing whatever he can to throw off the calculations of his opponent. Caleb with a more measured. Well, he should be slapping his lair. See? There you go. Slapping the plot. Oh, he already did that. And Roach Warren. Roach Warren, Caleb. Caleb, can you hear me? Is your music... Roach Warren. Don't worry, he'll hear me in a sec. Might be like, Winter, aren't these replays? If you can't tell the difference, doesn't matter. Is Caleb going high to again? You madman. He's gonna go either Lurker Rush or he forgot his Roach Warren. He forgot his Roach. His music was too loud. These damn kids and their... You know what? Kids these days just don't understand, okay? They don't understand that they can... Back in my day, we didn't have the select all army hotkey. We had to tell our first workers to go mine on their own. So... Nowadays, select all armies. Start with 12 workers. Okay, auto mining. Even see how... Okay, yeah. Tell me about their loud music and their techno babbles. Not even making mutas like a real pro gamer. Well... 63 to 53 drones, but the rich Vespine geyser does kind of tilt. That does make up for some of the drone disparity. Not all of it, but especially for the gas income. It looks like Mac is going to lean very heavily on the Ravagers, as makes a lot of sense when you have that kind of income. +1 for both sides. Roach speed for both sides. Roaches for both sides. 4th base. It looks like Mac is actually winding up to go for an attack. Whereas Caleb is still squeezing out some extra drones. That's a lot of Ravagers. Oh! The patrol pathing makes it tough to hit. Overlord speed only costing 75. Almost no reason not to get it. In a relatively timely manner. Mac is... He's got a supply lead. He's got more army. He's got a lot of Ravagers, which can be used to really wedge your... he just kind of walked in. If he loses the Roach Warren... If Caleb loses the Roach Warren, that's kind of the game. Especially if it was before Roach speed. I'm pretty surprised he was able to make that much progress there. But... Mac... Definitely not a super cost-effective engagement. You can see already on the units lost 5 Roaches to 1. Not nearly as much as I thought it would be. Caleb does have a 4th base. He has that extra larva, which is actually going to be a big factor. If you look at Mac, he's got 1,000 minerals in the bank. Did not invest in the 4th base nearly as quickly. So he's going to need to adjust course here soon, unless he wants to go for that game-ending damage, potentially. Burrow move is on the way. Corrosive Bowels thrown up on both sides. Caleb playing defense again. The Ravagers... Corrosive Bile, definitely the decisive factor. But the numbers are not there for Mac. +2 is on the way. Caleb has invested in additional upgrades, but he has the unit count to protect himself while he's getting them. The lack of a 4th base and just the ability to build those units right now is really putting a damper on Mac's his prospects. There we go. Found the word in this match. The Ravager count, near even. Caleb just has 8 more roaches. Who's going to have +2 quicker? Caleb's going to have an advantage on that. The only advantage here for Mac is his rally point being a little bit quicker. Corrosive Bow going up. Roaches splitting. Not going to land on anything important. Where are the roaches? Where are the reinforcements? The concave is there. The supply in favor of the blue zerg. Burrow move is now done, and there's almost no detection. Just one badly bruised overseer. He's going to make more. It was spotted out. Oh, a roach counterattack. This was such a risky move. Caleb coming back in for more. +2 attack, 12 seconds out. This is a slim but decisive window from Caleb. He's up by a +2 upgrade, and that makes all the difference in these fights. He doesn't have the numbers. Mac pushed up against his own hatch. The drones are pulled. Desperation. Corrosive Bow gonna land. The counterattack has been cleaned up. The rest of the units are on the way. The supply is not there. The roaches are not there. Caleb going back to basics. More roaches counter less roaches. More upgrades counter less upgrades. The solid as a rock mentality of Caleb Arrakis from Icebound Esports brings him back from the brink. 3-2. He takes home those extra Big Macs. A hard-fought series. A lot more variety than most ZVZs even though it was a best of 5, still you'll see many games will look more like that last one than having all the extra builds and strategies, especially that Mac brought out. Caleb was kind of like, Caleb the whole time, besides that one lurker game, was like, let me build my 200 supply of roaches and ravagers in peace. And Mac just keeps... But congratulations, Caleb takes it. 3-2. Hopefully you enjoyed the cast, and if you didn't, how did you make it to this point? But if you did, like and subscribe and ring the bell and check the description for Dricket's information and for the players' information. I think they stream at least sometimes. But thank you for watching. Do the other races need to just be deleted, like we're working on in the next patch? So that way we can have ZVZ for every match and not just every WCS finals? Who knows? You tell me. Leave a comment. Thank you for watching. GG.